G'day everybody and welcome back to the Hardball Gets AFL show. Completely packed for work in the weekend. This podcast was brought to you by the new Mazda BT50 SP. It's a complete package. Today on the show, it's the 2-minute warning after the second week of finals. If you haven't subscribed, please do that, whether it's on podcasts or YouTube. And if you were playing community footy or sport on the weekend and captured a good highlight, go to streamer.com.au/screamer, upload it and be a chance to win $3,000 with the Streamer Screamer. All right, let's get stuck in. This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name's Nick Ryan, joined by Xavier Ellis, and Ryan Daniels seems like he's going to do a finals hub. Still stuck in Melbourne, so we got Chris Robinson sitting in the chair today.
He's throwing it back. He's throwing it back to the old school.
He loves the hub. It's where he started.
It's where he started.
He got his momentum. I mean, after we started him.
We lifted his lonely ass off the floor.
Yeah, that's right.
And put him up a little bit, and then the hub just took COVID to get him somewhere. But it's an upgrade with Robbo anyway, so good to have you, mate. And he's obviously read the feedback about eating on...
eating on the
did you
pod.
see that?
Yeah, I did see that feedback.
I had to skip forward 10 minutes. I mean, it was only one stick of chocolate.
Yeah.
I mean,
What was it? Someone was offended by his Kit Kat.
No, you can't eat. You can't eat on radio.
He's right next to the mic.
You just can't. It's disgusting.
I listened. I couldn't hear any.
No, either could I.
Okay.
But anyway, it was a comment that was left. So
Okay.
Somebody heard it.
It's worse if you're like sipping a cup of tea or something, all right?
Well, he does that too.
Yeah.
That's with the Kit Kat. Yeah. You can't have it without it.
And I must say, I have got a little bit of a cough. So I'd like to take this opportunity to not apologise. And if I cough during the episode, bad luck. There you go. Cleared that up.
One of you guys
Now
coughs
you don't have
during
to skip.
most episodes. So.
Yeah, it's me probably.
There has been a fair bit of like sickness go through this podcast, I think.
Mate. Ooh.
But we soldier on.
COVID.
Mate, it's September. Everyone's carrying something at this time of year.
You're right. Don't whinge,
We
just
carry
roll
on.
Just
Yep.
push through.
Yep.
Footy on the weekend.
Yeah, that's what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
That's,
Thoughts,
that's the
how
whole,
do you
that's the
like
whole
it?
reason why.
Are we
We
doing
go
footy
through
today?
everyone.
Well, actually, do you want an AFLW stat or we leave it?
You can do it because
No, we'll leave it. We'll leave it.
you'll leave it. It wasn't a great weekend for the AFLW.
No, because it was quiet. So that's why I watched it. So I started watching a few games, and I've said it openly. I think they expanded the competition way too quickly.
Yeah,
And it's showing.
I'd agree.
There was 28 quarters where a team didn't kick a goal.
Yeah.
Throughout the week. And I'd sit there in the fantasy world, do the stuff with the AFLW fantasy, but I dead set locked in for a few games on the weekend. I was like, this is expanded way too quick.
Yeah, Comp's still got a way to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully they clear some of this out. Like,
I love the idea of it. And Hawthorn, of course, me being a Hawks man, team in it, fantastic.
hopefully they clear out some cobwebs by the time they get the full clear air after the grand final.
Yeah.
Because, it's been a bit of a slow start.
Yeah. Anyway, I just sat there and watched it. No footy on. The waffle was good.
I tried to avoid, I think we spoke before, my team lost
Nick's team has lost 6 grand finals in 10 years.
It hasn't been a pleasant run. So
I'm turning this
I tried to
I don't
avoid
like
a lot of
looking at
footy.
Better
after
than
that.
not getting there, though. It's one of
I
those
don't
weird
know.
ones.
I don't know.
It is. You got to be there.
It hurts.
No, you got to be there.
If it was 4,
No,
you got to be there. We're up to C grade now, which is C1s.
Yeah.
So we've marched up the ladder without ever winning.
I ran into a few people over the week coming into the weekend and who had grand finals and my grand finals. And let's just say they weren't overly eager to play. I just can't wait for this season. Every year I sign up and by bloody June, I can't be, what am I doing? Oh, shit, who cares if we win or lose? I'm on the piss tonight. Yeah, so it's fair to say there's quite a few that are looking forward to the footy season being done.
Yeah, all right, well, let's crack on. We'll do the order. So we'll do the... Oh, I've got a lot of shit for this last week. So
This
what do
was
we do?
controversial last week. I listened in and
We're gonna
heard just
go
the shit rain upon you.
The teams that are still alive into the teams that just got knocked out and then the rest. Is that fair?
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
righto.
just call out the teams and then we'll just do it.
scamper.
All right, well, let's kick it off with Geelong. That's me. So the question I've got is, I saw a few more column inches devoted to ruck selection at Geelong again. I think it's Stanley versus Segler.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how much does the ruck choice actually matter?
0, 0, nada.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Big O out, forward in. Reece Stanley off the scrap heap at St Kilda.
Just flick him around,
Big
yeah.
Segsy's coming over from Hawthorn. Who else is floating around at the moment? What other teams are still going?
what, on the
Darcy
other side?
Cameron.
Sydney, Tom Hickey's been to 4 clubs.
Darcy
Yeah,
Cameron,
Darcy
Richmond
Cameron.
booted by Sydney.
Darcy Cameron.
Yeah.
Nankervis was the Sydney, obviously, and
That's
at Richmond.
right,
Mate, the list is as long as your arm that you're about finding recycled ruckman.
It doesn't matter unless you've got the top of the was.
Max Gawn and probably Sean Darcy are the benchmark of being one clubbers in the ruck.
Yeah.
Would you say? Well, Grundy's out of touch.
Yeah. Riley O'Brien when he's dropped a lot this year as well.
He's been dropped this year. There you go.
Yeah, they'd be the ones, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And the Big O, I think
No,
the
it doesn't matter.
Big O's getting within touching distance, you reckon?
Nah, next
He's had
run.
a good
I
year,
think.
hasn't he?
Good year, but next
by
run.
far the next run.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Top of the
Gawn.
next run.
Was a good Darcy Fort game, though.
It was. No,
It's
it
much
was.
better than
It
we
was.
expected.
Yeah.
Here he
But
comes.
then it probably made the case for it. Who are we talking about?
Geelong.
Let's get back to Geelong. I've got bloody Darcy Fort material here.
Probably gets dropped
So
against
Darcy
Geelong,
Fort, was it like start of the fourth? He started cramping.
Doesn't matter. I'd Reece
Doesn't
Stanley
matter, does
or
it?
Big John Segler. I'd love to see John Segler win one because he could have easily played.
So he didn't miss out. He didn't miss out on
13-14 or 14-15, whatever it was.
Yeah,
He was
right.
dropped late in one, and I reckon he was dropped in a prelim for
Ben McAvoy.
Big Boy in another. And he
Jesus.
could have, and it might have been dropped. Maybe that Sydney, and wouldn't have mattered. Sydney or us.
That's
They
worse,
would have
isn't
won.
it? When you get dropped and then the team wins by 50
yeah,
anyway.
wouldn't
Like,
have
it
mattered.
did not
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
The couple of inches they were trying to get.
So you'd think Reece Stanley comes in.
I think
though.
Stanley
he's
holds.
down,
Yeah.
he's fine. Like, and he's going up against. McInerney should be back, right? It was a
Concussion.
Thursday night game.
Yeah, he's laughing.
So he should be back.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably going to concede anyway. Yeah, it doesn't. Like, what are you.
But I like the blit anyway. I like the blit.
Blue Subs in there.
Yep. Next.
Brisbane.
This
You
is
gotta
not. This is not me. See, I've subbed in late for Rhino today and got the absolute.
Yeah.
dud
No, I'm a line
bunch
man.
of
Brisbane?
teams.
I'm a line
Yeah,
man.
No
so,
wonder Rhino pulled
So
out.
Jared Lyons, I
Have
haven't
you got
seen.
the
I've
group
got
of
the
death?
absolute dud group. North Melbourne.
Yeah, they're shit.
Oh
Good
my
luck.
goodness. Yeah.
So-
Oh,
back
how do you
end
think
of the
Clarko
but
will do
everybody
it?
stick around for that. later.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Hey, Brisbane Lions, obviously a huge win. Joe Danaher, I loved him being out and a bit of the chaos inside 50. Enjoyed it. Hipwood, huge. But what happens to Jared Berry? Is he in trouble?
Oh, get him up, mate. Why is Jared... Trent Cotchin gets free pass. Like,
Yeah.
give Jared Berry one.
Yeah.
So what is the most intriguing thing for me with this is what does Clayton Oliver do? Does he get called up to talk about
I
this?
think Clary would be
And
the
if
type
he
of player.
does, how does he talk about
No,
it?
he lies. I think Clary's a
But there's-
liar in a good way.
Yeah, but there's so much post
Yeah, no,
incident
he
footage
just-
where he's walking around pointing to his eye to anyone who will
Hmm?
listen.
So grassing it.
He was saying, I was saying, like,
Does he
look,
just say, hey guys, look at my new
boys,
contacts.
look at the ruck tap.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Let's
I
Focus,
closer.
clear eyes, full
I
heart.
think we all
Yeah,
agree
can't lose.
he comes across as a bloke that's not a dobber.
No, I don't think he'd be a dobber.
I think on the field he
I
may
also have
be.
a feeling they might have to find him. If he's like 2-3
Find
days
him?
after finishing his
Oh,
season,
find him,
like,
yeah,
they might have to
actually find
locate
him.
Clayton Oliver.
Where is Clary?
Yeah.
He turns up with a closed eye and they go, shit, what's happened to you guys? No, there was a punch on last night.
Yeah.
So Berry, you reckon okay?
Reckon
Because
Berry,
Jared
okay.
Lyons is out of the side, obviously, injured. So there's kind of a replacement there, but we're thinking good to go. Joe comes back in,
Joe comes back in.
straight in,
Yeah.
and Big O.
And the big O comes straight
Yeah.
back in.
So O
It's Big O.
replaces Fort,
Yeah,
even though Fort was really good.
Geez, how good was Hipwood's game?
yeah, the big hip. I think he had 11
He's
scoring
coming into
involvements or something.
Yeah. Well, takes a while to come back to an ACL, but geez.
And
Done
Charlie
right.
Cameron for a 5-touch game.
Did we not see-
5-touch game?
Did he not walk off the ground and do this?
Oh, I'm done.
Did he?
Done.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, he said after he thought it was his Liz Frank.
Well, and
gone.
we know why it's called the Lose Frank.
Oh yeah, because of the hell of the horse,
The horse.
the French general getting off the horse,
In the
snapped his
in the
thing,
foot thing,
in the stirrup.
in the stirrup,
Yeah.
because you come off and it just snaps through the middle.
General Liz Frank.
That's what it's called.
Is
the
his
Lose
first
Frank
name
for.
Liz and then last name Frank?
Frank.
Or is it Liz Frank?
Frank.
Well, why don't people pronounce it right then?
Because we're in Australia, mate. I'm not in Bordeaux.
All right, Sydney. I reckon that's me. So there's a couple of things. It's kind of tough. There's not. I didn't find a lot to talk about with Sydney. Like they're so settled. There's no like one or the other. What's this person going to do? That's what I feel like with Sydney. You know what they're all going to do. A couple of news items during the week. So Leon Cameron's jumped over as the head of coaching for their
Cross town.
academy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, just didn't want to leave Sydney.
Pretty good academy.
Yeah,
I mean, the academy could probably beat North Melbourne.
it's not bad. It's not a bad academy.
Mills, Heaney.
Yeah,
et
they've
cetera,
had a few
et cetera.
go through.
Yeah.
Paddy McCartan got a 2-year deal, which is
Good,
like a
that's great.
story, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Tom plus 4.
Yeah, I think Tom plus 4. Yeah.
But so Doherty and Ben Cunnington's stories
yeah.
have been so widely appreciated and loved.
At the Paddy McCartan.
But the Paddy McCartan any other year would be a story that we're sitting there going,
just wait till he wins a
who's played
flag. Wait
number
till he's
one
sitting there
draft
as a
pick?
premiership player in 12 days'
but-
time.
number one draft pick, forward,
Yeah.
concussions, not to play footy again. Then was playing in the NEFL or VFL or whatever
Yeah.
it was. The only time I heard about him was when he
Cracked
clocked,
Aaron Black.
when he clocked someone.
Yeah, that was Aaron Black.
Yeah.
And then
Geelong,
he
former
gets
Geelong player.
drafted to play with his little brother
Yeah.
in the back line.
And then
they're
becomes
in
like
a prelim.
yeah.
It's an amazing story.
Becomes like a key pillar of the prelim finals.
And another chapter, remember him down in Tassie where we thought he was done. Remember he was in his at the locker room, he got subbed out with
Yeah, that's
concussion. And we're
right.
like, that's it, he's done. He was emotional.
Mm.
The commentators got the soil out and was just spreading it over him. I reckon it's an unbelievable story.
Does it beat the story of when a homeless man stole his car and lived in the car for like
What?
2 months and then he
Oh,
got it
that's
back?
a very good story.
It's a great story.
Yeah,
Dig it up for
McCartan
you.
as well.
McCartan, yeah.
Mate, hey, just add that to the chapters.
Yeah, and it's just another
It's in
one on
there.
the story
Is
of Paddy
there-
McCartan.
We flagged this a couple of months ago. Is there any hope for Josh Kennedy to
No.
sneak his way? Just
he's
to
already
He's
edge
called
retired.
his way?
He's done. He's called it.
He can't.
Done. Nah.
That's
He's
it.
probably stopped training.
He's
isn't he?
working on the bench.
But in terms of him being able to be the sub, or has that been completely
I
ruled
think
out?
done.
Okay.
Yeah, nah. He's
It's a real shame.
he's on the bench.
It's a real shame. Would have been great to see him finish off.
Absolutely.
Collingwood. Is this me again?
Oh my god.
It's definitely not me.
Pick the bloke who's picked the team.
Yeah, mate, I just got a good group, all right? It cycles. Everyone cycles
but
down
I think
one
next
every
time
week.
just go like ladder order.
Okay, we
1,
might do
2,
that.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Collingwood. So, the question mark, not a question mark. The question is Jordan De Goey having a dusty series?
Mate. Jordan
has-
De Goey's just give him the 900.
Yeah, mate, he's done so much for his wallet.
So I got a
His
Fremantle
reputation.
supporters I was with at the pub on Saturday night, and they were saying, if we got 900,000 to spend, why are we
Get
not
De
spending on
Goey.
Jordan De Goey?
Yeah,
Like, he was exceptional. He's done it back-to-back weeks.
26 against Geelong. It was 26, 2 goals, 8 clearances, 6 inside 50s. Against Fremantle, it was 24, 1 goal, 6 clearances, 8 inside 50s.
But 6 was the most clearances on the ground,
Yeah,
and the
and I think he had
inside
12,
50s were the most,
12
and
score involvements.
most score involvements by
He's
5,
such
I
a
think.
front heart. Like, he's such an offensive weapon.
Well, I
Every
mean-
time he touches it, it's
Do you remember when last year he went midfield and then just got some real like cheapies around the back line?
Yeah.
And he was having 30 or mid-30s or
But
whatever
it's
a couple
not
of
that,
times.
is it?
And
It's so much
I
different to
remember
that.
Pendlebury saying, that's not Jordan De Goey.
Yeah.
He can get it in our forward half. And bloody hell,
Yeah.
he's been player of the finals for me.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's what, and I look back and they're very similar numbers to those Dusty runs, probably even slightly better. Dusty might have kicked another goal or two in those
Yeah,
games,
Dusty would have
but
been kicking the goals.
Yeah, it was about 20 and 2, 20 and 3 along the way. So,
So if
yeah,
I-
he's
if
got
you're-
25 and 2.
If Collingwood have got
5
5 years, 900 on the table, would both parties be happy?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I've got St Kilda later on. You guys are treading all over my
Okay.
St Kilda areas. There's so
Well,
much
this-
more to
this-
talk about with Collingwood.
Nah, let's bury St Kilda. Beautiful.
Yeah, mate, it's
But that's the lasting memory of Collingwood in this final series for me so far is De Goey
De Goey.
storming out of the
Yeah.
middle and Jack Crisp
Yeah.
running
That-
away
Jack-
from.
that
Who was
Crisp-
Jack Crisp running
Frederick.
away from? Frederick?
That Crispin run.
Unreal. Just backing
Yeah.
themselves through the middle with
I mean,
pace.
you knew you're in trouble when, like, Freo's speed was like the forward half. of
yeah,
them.
yeah, and they
And the
couldn't get
Crisp
him.
are running and bouncing at the same time. And if you had known that Frederick had lunged, could have kept running all the way in.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate, it was insane. All right, now on to the losers from the weekend. We'll start with Freo.
So Freo
There we go,
is
welcome.
finally me. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. So you can look at this two ways for Freo. As a season as a whole, hell of a season. Real big step forward, playing finals, won a final. I think if you offered that to most Dockers fans at the start of the year, they would have
taken
said, yep, we'll do that. Can't help but think of it as a big missed opportunity as well, though. Obviously, they had a really healthy list for most of the year,
Yeah.
probably bar Fife. And obviously,
Tabner.
Tabner, and literally 1 point off finishing top 4. Again, we know how important that is. So it's kind of hard to.
So
Look
who
at
would have they played if they were top 4?
They would have taken Collingwood's spot, so they would have played Geelong,
Geelong, and
then probably hosted Collingwood, right? So
they could have played that on Mars on the weekend, and it was two different teams out there.
yeah, it doesn't hurt though to have.
Oh
it
no, I
on.
agree with that. Missed opportunity, but like I think you take the final win and go, yep, that's a final win
Yeah, you
season.
bank that.
Yeah,
They
totally.
were nowhere near it. It felt like 10 goals all night.
Yeah. So what's the biggest priority for them over the next 2 or 3 months? What's the number one thing that they've got to do?
Well, there's so many players leaving. Lobb, Logue, Akers, apparently looking to leave. Akers, Henry this morning, there was interest
been
over.
some
Oh,
swirls around Henry, yeah.
but Tucker.
Darcy Tucker's the other one.
So is that the most important thing for them right now, to make sure they get adequate compensation for what's leaving?
It's funny, the list is a little bit unsure what it is now, because you want Erasmus in, you want Johnson in, so hence why Akers, Tucker. You want Jai, you want to miss
Jai
Amos
back in
to be
Amos, yeah.
playing there full time. So is Rory Lobb probably going to have a better season than Jai next year?
Probably, yeah.
But going forward, you go, well, he's going to be a much better player, you'd think. So I think they might be losing a little bit on a wing, losing a little bit in the forward line. But who knows? What do you get, picks or players? What are you after?
It'd be really interesting, and who we'll also find out who's been the scuttlebutt through the season, who's actually leaving. Over the next little period, but. It's you're right. They lose a little bit in the midfield, and they lose. David Mundy's out of there as well.
If they decide they're in their window, I'd love them to go right. I see a Lob, Logue, etc. There has to be a lot of money, and go. Here's 900 to go. If you want to think Luke Jackson's the answer, if you think Luke Jackson's the answer, then Luke Jackson's.
That'd be an amazing story.
But you'd love them to go.
Just trumping for De Goey. They do like a Ross Lyon switch where all of a sudden they got Jordan De Goey out of nowhere.
Out of left.
He turns up to the airport. You're like, Jesus.
Melbourne.
Barley. I got Melbourne. 22-point halftime lead.
That's a selling point for De Goey, closer to Barley.
Yeah, and cheaper flights.
Yeah.
And so 22 points up, 28 points up with like 7 seconds before halftime. Will we see Ben Brown next year? Kicked 30 goals from 19 games. McDonald kicked 3 and had 20 in the twos. And I said, I think, was it on this podcast I would have played McDonald?
Tom McDonald?
Yeah. I would have played McDonald over Jackson, I reckon. And I know that sounds silly. But I think they've become a bit of a mess. Their forward line's a mess.
Yeah, well, their forward line.
Are you confident that McDonald's going to get you to the premiership again next year? You're confident that Ben Brown's going to get you there? Luke Jackson kicked 11 goals from 22 games. If Jackson does stay.
Their forward line was always their weakest area, though, right?
Definitely.
But I think now it's really weak.
But now, because they had Tom McDonald holding it up that premiership year.
Well, yeah,
he had a great year.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Who
Fritsch has been the constant.
Yeah, and I love.
And has had another great year.
But you go, it should have been All-Australian too. Sometimes we just overlook the bloke that kicks goals.
And then Pickett's done it in fits and spurts.
He's exciting. He's got the good tricks.
But how many times did he just know where the ball was going to land off hands?
And I was saying, someone asked me about Liam Henry
He knew the defender's going to go boundary side, and so he's boundary side, and it just lands straight in his lap. That was unreal.
Someone asked about Liam Henry, and I said Liam Henry doesn't have the fear that Cozzy Pickett as a small forward has hitting that pack and speed. But back to Melbourne, but you can't rely on Bailey Fritsch and Cozzy Pickett as your best forwards.
No.
So I think their backline's sweet, midfield's sweet. But are they going to be in the same predicament when they need goals next year? They're going to finish 6th.
Well, it's kind of why, and he's not, obviously the answer is only kicked 30 or something for Freo, but why that lob thing didn't just seem like an easy switch? Like
something along the lines
actually happening.
We'll take your first rounder,
and
we'll take lob,
yeah,
and we'll take something else, and you have Jackson.
And you give us then the third back or something.
Yeah, it would have been spare parts essentially.
Yeah, and I don't understand that. Yeah, because I don't know where it's coming from. Sam Wiedemann hasn't grabbed his opportunities when he's been in. And that's it, isn't it? Like they don't have any other big options down there.
Max Gordon needs to rush.
They got to hope Jacob Van Ruin becomes a superstar in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on their list.
But if he was going to become a superstar, he would have thought he would have got a little sniff at some stage with the forward issues out at Melbourne.
Let's go to Richmond.
Richmond, righto. Damien Hardwick's been so steadfast in 2 years, 100%. Dusty's at Richmond. Trade period's going to be huge this year. I can't wait for that to start.
There's a lot going on in there.
There's so many players that are going to be moving.
Yeah, better than
Dusty Martin.
Oh, last year. Oh.
Yeah, we spent.
They picked the worst year to do
weeks.
the doco last year.
Yeah.
We spent 15 weeks talking about Chera.
I think they are actually doing another doco this year.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's good.
Dusty Martin.
Yeah,
so Taranto's in, they reckon. Hopper's in.
Yeah, but they got to figure out how to get it done. So I think the Giants are pushing back on the Hopper because he's contracted.
Yeah.
So that's a 2 first, right? Well, we went over those numbers pre-injury. We went over the numbers pre-injury.
Some big ones.
You can hold them over the table.
What are you holding over the table?
No, you put those numbers on the table, you put his contract on the table, and you put his age on the table, and you go 2 first.
Okay. I don't think you get that for him.
Well, you might not, but that's a starting point.
I think Dylan Shields ruined 2 first.
He really did, didn't he? Is it, what's the other GWS through Essendon player?
Devon Smith.
Devon Smith, who's now retired.
He got a couple firsts or something,
He
didn't
probably could have, yeah.
Jeez.
A couple of firsts were flying, and I remember when free
he's
agency was
retired?
first. Yeah,
Devon
retired.
Smith's done, yeah.
28.
Really?
He's done.
28, 29.
I missed that completely.
Yeah, he retired 18 months ago.
He led the comp
Nah, he
in.
retired this year.
No, it was a few weeks ago. He led the
Yeah.
comp in tackles like 3 seasons
He
ago.
won the
I
best
think.
and fairest.
Yeah.
One of the best
Why did he
fairest
It was
retire?
unreal.
Injured.
Oh, God, I missed that completely. Anyway,
Oh, my
move on.
God.
I liked him as a player.
Yeah, no, he was tough. But anyway,
Fell
so
away.
we're at Richmond Dusty. Are we buying Dimmer, or do we just think it's one of those ones like Franklin? The best player's gone.
Yeah.
I think he's staying.
Staying.
I think he's staying.
too. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Were we also sure everyone wasn't he leaving?
He was going to Sydney, yeah, or GWS.
I thought he was leaving 100%
because he loved New South Wales. Yeah.
Not being noticed. All right, so he's staying.
Yeah. I think he's staying.
You don't think he's going to get noticed in Sydney as well? I know it's different, obviously, but
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Talking about New South
You
Wales, did you see the NRL yesterday?
crazy.
Oh,
7
the
blokes
finish.
in the bin.
Crazy.
It was unbelievable.
It's a big bin.
Western Bulldogs.
That's me.
You
so
got one in the 8.
yeah, I sneaked one.
A tough one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So Josh Dunkley,
2 firsts.
is it 2 firsts?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Is it 3 firsts? No.
7 firsts
So this is
and
looking
7
like
years.
Port Adelaide, right?
Yeah.
So I hadn't realised this until a few days
Is it
ago.
Port
but
Adelaide and
his-
Brisbane?
His partner plays
Yeah.
netball
In Adelaide.
in Adelaide.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah. So that's obviously a massive lure. I don't mind this for Port. I think this makes a lot of sense for Port,
They
and
need just
particularly if
that-
they can do Rioli as well. I think they can bounce back
Is this
really quickly.
This is a new. He's bought property in this city. It's like he has a partner playing Suncorp Super Netball in this city. Tim English, Trelaw, now Dunkley.
Yeah.
How am I going to get out of this team? I need a girlfriend that plays netball. No, I think, Port Adelaide's one of those ones, we speak about it all the time, about how many outside B-grade players they've sort of got. You know, Carl Amon, Houston, Darcy Byrne-Jones,
The ones,
the Boner.
Mhm.
Like, there's so many of them. And they need someone to help Ollie Wines. And Travis Boak
And
obviously
replace
can't.
Boak, yeah.
Boakie's 35 next year. I think he's great fit, tough. I mean, he finished with
Makes
14,
a lot of
14
sense, doesn't
tackles
it?
in that final against Freo.
Mhm.
And maybe people were like, well, he knew it was his last game, so he gave it everything. But I'm like, I don't believe
Did
that.
that anyway. Like he was
Yeah.
doing that through the year.
And then Junior goes in that forward line. Georgiades.
They
They
bounce
need a
back
big
quick.
year
They
off
can bounce
Georgiades.
back.
Well, they need, and they start with Connor Rosie in the middle.
And
Like,
Butters.
that was only a back half of
Yeah,
the year
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
experiment.
yeah.
That
No,
turned
their
out to be
midfield-
unreal.
They need Ruckman.
Yep.
But their midfield goes Wines, who's a Brownlow medalist, like a unique one, he's a big, strong insider. Rosie and Butters outside. You throw in Dunkley, who's tough and wins his own footy.
Yep.
Mhm.
And Boak with a bit of sprinkle. And then you got those outside players in the forward line.
And a cushy draw.
yeah,
as well.
cushy
Having
draw.
missed
They
the
have a
Yeah,
finals.
and
cushy
if you
draw.
need,
That's
you
gonna
do with Butters and Rosie, almost do the Dusty Bolton thing.
Yes, but
One
I
of his forward, one of his mid. Like,
I don't
swap
think
it
I'm a
out.
believer in that.
Don't you?
No, I just... If they're learning the craft of midfield,
Leave him in there.
just let him in
Well,
there.
that's
for
I
the
suppose
year
that is
and
what
dominate.
Rosie when he was just in there.
Look,
Like
because
you're the
they
mid.
flirted with him for so long.
Yeah.
Depends who it is. We just ended up talking about the power there instead of the Bulldogs. that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
okay.
It's the Bulldogs. Yeah, Dunkley.
But yeah, Dunkley, yeah,
Two,
good fit.
two firsts.
Carlton.
Carlton is also me. So what have I got written down
So,
here? Let's
St
scroll up.
Kilda.
What am I going to talk about with St Kilda? I've got Degoe written down here.
No, that's all right. We can-
Carlton is Liam Stocker. So this was surprising.
Could you
news.
talk me through the stock? I'm seeing things
So-
on Twitter or whatever, but he's done nothing really.
He
except
hasn't.
for being
well,
No,
the-
but he's a third. They almost gave up pick 1 for him.
yeah. So
Remember?
the most famous thing was this was like the
'cause Carlton were
first
going
pick
shit house,
swap,
weren't they?
the first
Yeah.
future pick
They
swap.
gave up their future first, and for the first half of the year, it was pick 1.
Yeah. So I think
That's
he
right.
went at 19 or 18 or something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
they
How'd they
traded.
get to 18? How was it not number 1 in the end? What happened?
No. They traded. It ended up like what is it? Well, that was Adelaide's pick.
It was Adelaide, yeah.
Probably slid to 5 or 6.
Yeah, okay.
But they traded their future first to get the first of the second round
Yeah,
to get
Stocker.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of recruiters going, all right, like, that
Yeah.
was a weird move
Yeah.
to make.
And so it has proved if you delist him after
Yeah.
4 years. But even that now
What sort of player is he?
is a surprising move. So he's inside mid. I think he's been
But now
rolling
he's
up
been
half
at
back as
half
well.
back,
Back, yeah, that's something like
Essendon
inside,
have
there's
already
not
met
many
with him.
inside mids that play half back.
No.
Well, they're kind of opposite positions.
Yeah, but he's had a tough run with injury through the early part, And two, if you were that invested in him 4 years ago, would you not just be keeping him on bargain basement money and just going, let's just give another year or two and have a look?
I would argue Hawthorn took Mitch Thorpe pick 5 or 6 or something and jumped ship year 3.
Yeah.
It's
like,
that's the sunk cost fallacy. I got to keep going because I spent this. Sometimes you just got to cut your loss.
But it sounds like he's going to end up somewhere else.
But yeah.
And maybe he needs
sounds like he's good enough.
What are the reports of character and stuff? Do we know anything?
Impeccable, apparently.
Impeccable character.
Who was saying that? I think Andy Marr said that. He's met him a few times and he's a great character. So that, I don't think there's any character questions is the bottom line. Yeah.
No, I can't help you. I don't know what's happened there. But and Carlton, they need a couple players though. Akers another one coming in.
Yeah, they do.
All right. Here we go, Robbo. St Kilda.
Here we go.
Geez. All right. So Jordan De Goey, I don't know if you guys have seen, he's had a great final series.
Yeah.
Seriously though, how much would St Kilda be sitting back watching this, just going, "Oh, mate, do you have to do this now?"
Yeah.
It's like
just
the
hoping
Collingwood list managers are going, "This is unreal. He might get us a premiership," but also, shit.
Yeah.
I would be more in the camp of if I was St Kilda, which he's still in the race to get him. I'd be looking at it going, great. Because if you do land him, I think your anxieties are gone that he can play.
I think so, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you're sitting there and he's out of a shit final series and they go, great, we've got him for 900. Like, wouldn't you? I'd just rather him dominate. And if you get him, you get him.
And then there's no questions over the move to it.
Yeah,
like,
no one can go, what are you doing?
Like,
well, he dominated all the final series, Is he free agent?
I don't think so. Oh, no, he must be.
He's out of contract,
Out of contract, yeah.
He must be by now.
So Brad Hill's money comes off the books too, you'd assume.
But not all of it.
To North Melbourne.
North ain't going to take that whole hit.
No, but I mean, at least
700.
it's off the books, yeah. St Kilda, they need a Jordan De Goey. Jack Steele's.
Do you do that? It's a very, when you're at Collingwood, you just played a semi-final in front of 90,000.
If you're Jordan De Goey.
Everybody's up and about. You're Jordan De Goey.
No.
Yeah, I don't think
But
that
I think when Jordan De Goey wasn't signing his contract, I think he was thinking 17th.
Yeah.
The year before.
I think I don't think
What do you think the chance of him leaving her?
Oh, I'd say 10 to 15%.
You reckon it's that low?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's probably more than that, but I still think it's more likely than unlikely that he stays.
Yeah,
Collingwood pay him his money now.
I'm 15%.
Yeah.
And they can find that extra cash when Grundy goes, you'd think.
So that, what's he on $1 million? So they'd probably have to wear 200,000-300,000 of that to get him off the books. Yeah, there's money. They'll figure it out. They will pay him. He gets his money at Collingwood. But now what does St Kilda do with that that check, that cap space they've got? Yeah, that's why they could come in and disrupt a couple of other
And they had a really hot spot of recruiting players, didn't they?
Yeah.
St Kilda.
Jack Steele.
Or Hill, Crouch.
Hanbury.
But it just hasn't.
They got Hanbury's. They got a lot of money, St Kilda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah, they could do something.
Port Adelaide. I feel like we've talked about Port Adelaide already. So the story came out last week that Port Adelaide were looking to woo Josh Carr over as almost a successor to Ken Hinkley, like a senior assistant who would be capable of stepping into the main gig. So there's a couple of different versions of this that have happened over the journey, and let's just say the last 15, 20 years. So Mick and Bucks obviously did not.
It went well.
Yeah, that went really well. Leon Cameron at GWS, but that was Sheedy was just the showman to sell the club, really.
Wasn't there meant to be a handover to someone else too?
Choco Williams.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen. So that's why I couldn't remember whether Leon Cameron went in, and I never actually went back and checked that, whether he went in and before Sheedy did the handover or whether he came in fresh. I think he was there.
No, he was at Hawthorn.
And then he went straight to the head job at GWS?
Jeez, now I can't remember.
See, I think he had a year as an assistant, and that was a handover. So that's a maybe.
Yeah, did he? But why would he have a year up there as a senior?
Because it was you will get this next year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, quite possibly.
Coach the side, please. Sheedy's out there selling. Yeah. And then you'll be the head coach next year.
Clarko
and Mitchell also worked out really well.
Horse and Paul Roos worked well.
Also Paul Roos worked well. Then the other one was just a similar
Rutten
one.
And Woosher. Or Woosher to Rutten.
Woosher to Rutten. That was just
that went well.
That went really well.
Is Rutten still?
I remember even back to Mark Harvey coming across to Fremantle when Chris Connolly was the coach.
I thought you were going to say with the boss. I was like, I don't think that was a succession plan.
It was a very quick one.
That was the quickest succession plan in history. One phone call.
You've been succeeded. I don't know. It only works if Hinkley's going to step out.
Well, I reckon if Hinkley can't get him over the hurdle, or he's got one more trick this year.
Yep.
and that is Connor Rosie in the midfield the whole time, Butters in the midfield.
And
Dunkley, Junior in the forward line. That you think, right, if you can't get over the hump, then I reckon you just...
They're all in next year.
I think he'd almost
yeah.
really step aside too. It'd be
Koshy, Koshy make you nervous, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Because he comments.
Anyway, it's like a
he has the forum to comment.
It's the same like makeup as Hawthorn, where you got the outspoken president.
Yes. That would be an amazing career path for Carr. Port to Freo to Port to Freo to Port. Between playing and coaching.
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast Suns, I have got. Plot a path for the Gold Coast Suns. I can't believe they just got rolled in the VFL on the weekend. Flanders had another 40.
Sharkies.
Flanders had 40 and 40 back to back. But they're going to have pick 5 and 7.
Yeah, true.
With Adelaide.
Deal.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost that. What do? So Jewish just signed 2 more years.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no urgency to do anything stupid. You get King back this year.
Yes.
Are you just running it back and drafting kids, or are you trying to split 5 and 7 to do something? Either trade or either flick it to the number 1 draft pick from North, or you're trying to on-sell it and bring in someone else.
Yeah, I think they commit to youth, right? They've been down the path before where they've tried to go for a bit more experience at their detriment early
at
on.
their detriment, but are they now over the
Are they in a
hump
different
of...
spot?
Yeah, but I don't know who. Dunkley?
Well, Dunkley would work, but
Dunkley
obviously
would
that's not
work,
going to
but
happen. I don't know. Is there a Gold Coast netball team?
Yeah, this is what Trelaw was going to go there, wasn't he? Sunshine Coast
Is it?
Firebirds.
Yeah, okay.
No,
that's Queensland.
Sunshine Coast something.
Lightning.
Lightning.
Anyway, so stay the course and kids.
Think so. And
I think it's
or
kids,
find
yeah.
they'd want to draft like a young key defender. I don't think they have too many of them coming through.
No, and they've got Johannesson, if it's believed, an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Dyson Heppel,
I think that's
an offer.
looking less likely.
But they're obviously looking to bring in senior people. You've lost Weller for the year, and you've lost Will Powell from that knock. That was sickening still.
Yeah, they were 2 big blows, weren't they? To Gold Coast,
That's all they'd run out of the back.
And then they lost someone else as well who could run off half back.
Was it Buttery? Buttery went down, didn't he?
Was it?
Butterick was underrated. Through that.
They lost one, and Stewie Jew fighting for a contract, and he's lost all his bounce off half back.
Maybe you'd put one on the table and see what you could get with it.
Yeah, okay.
And one, and then maybe think if you really need to go and do a future, but you've got to hold at least one of them.
Okay. Take it.
Hawthorn. Oh, this is me. So Bruce got 2 years. Gunston, we don't have an answer on yet. Think he stays?
Wow, if I was Fremantle over here,
you try, yeah. Well, yeah.
I'd be. How many goals did Gunston kick this year? Do you
still probably push 30, 40?
Oh, he would have kicked 40. Yeah.
He missed a fair chunk of it too.
He did, but he missed all of last year. So you know they say, "Oh, you've got a back injury." I mean, you've missed a year, so you should be able to play a year longer. I've never subscribed to that.
No,
if you're getting your back chopped up by a surgeon,
you get another year off the back end.
You're certainly not feeling better about yourself.
No. So they go in with pick 6 and 24 at this stage. They got to try and get another one in there, right? Like
if you were
32 in 16 games, 2 a game.
16, so he's 45 or something over the full year.
Yep.
If you were a Gold Coast, would you offer something for a Gunston? If you were Freo,
I feel like their forwards, I think, will be all right.
Oh, I think Casboll's probably not going to be seen much next year.
No, but that's because Ben King comes in.
Yeah, I still think they need a third banana.
Well, he might work there then, yeah.
Did he play with Dew? Did they cross over there? Gunston and Dew? No.
He
would have still been at Adelaide.
Geez.
Would they have crossed over for a year? No.
I forgot he was at Adelaide.
Might have.
Maybe not.
Maybe
probably not. Probably
maybe he one in, one out. Yeah.
I don't. I think Gunston could work, but maybe they put one on the table. Who else would you spit out there? The Mitchell stuff's already been floated.
Well, it's on Mitchell, but there's no value.
Taker, yeah.
He's better to play than be given a third rounder for.
Yeah. Well, if that's all that's on the table.
It's amazing that we're talking about Tom Mitchell this way.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe a third rounder.
I don't disagree with it, but it's amazing that we're talking about him this way, considering how quick he was. The Brownlow medalist from, 4 years ago?
Who's a top 8 side that could do with another inside mid?
Fremantle.
Like if you got a third rounder.
You spit it out.
Why wouldn't you?
And
you can afford him.
He's not going
to make your team worse.
But it's just a question of Brody Fife. We talked about that earlier. Anyway, Adelaide. So Matt one big thing which is looming over Adelaide is...
Sorry, I just went like that, and it went...
Oh, no. So the one big thing looming over Adelaide's Rankine. I feel like we've covered Rankine a fair bit already.
Yeah.
You just got to wait for that to play out. But Matt Crouch, so there's still been no real call either way on him. And so I've read a piece
Except for a
today-
couple of his mates saying, we want him to stay.
and there's some quotes from him saying that I think like he's obviously playing a lot of Sandford, wants to play AFL, but he
Didn't
said
play
he
on the
settled in
weekend,
Adelaide and they got a baby on the way. So it's a little bit of like, it's really bad timing to pick up and move states.
I'm sure it's bad timing, but I mean, sitting at home and not having a job's worse timing.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're going to keep rolling him into Sandford for the same pay, but you got to move, right? So averaged 37 in the Sandford. And when he came into the side, in the AFL side, he was averaging 27.
Still
and
getting
4
numbers,
clearances.
yeah.
27 years old.
He was playing zero game time virtually. He was playing
Yeah.
60,
He's
65% game time.
He's like a fringe. He's a real fringe player for him, like an afterthought almost. Like
Yeah.
what's the market for him? Where do you find him? Who wants him?
Well, is he contracted?
1 more year, I think. Yeah.
I think it's almost a bag of burly footballs.
And move him. Yeah, but who's taking him? This is the question.
Could you see the Saints?
Will the Crouch brothers together again?
Are they
Yeah, I
close?
can, but I don't
Do we
think
know
it
they're
moves.
close?
Yeah,
Are
the
they
brothers
close?
are. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it moves the needle much for the Saints, but yeah,
No,
maybe
it doesn't,
depth.
but it's another free piece.
If you get a free swing out of him,
Yeah. Clarko's called everyone who's out of contract or looking to move. Maybe he goes in.
Well, Ben Cunnington, though, is going to play next year. So that's if Ben Cunnington was done,
Then you move him in
I'd
there.
be like, oh, maybe, but you can't have Ben Cunnington and Matty Crouch in there together.
But again, maybe it's just like a backup. But
Yeah,
he
but
doesn't
you-
want to play. He wants to play. I don't know where the opportunity is. Across the road at Port Adelaide. Does he move there? If they don't get the dunker
Brisbane?
done.
They've got Lockie
As a
Neal who
younger
gets
Jared
on the
Lyons.
move. You've got...
does he get into any of these midfields though? As a
No,
starting, as a
I'm
top three
thinking
guy?
Bear with me. But I'm thinking as allows Neal to move through the stoppage, it allows McCluggage to play outside. Jared Berry plays on the wing. Maybe it's just a Will Brodie piece.
Interesting.
Essendon. Who's got the Bombers?
I've got the Bombers and another cough coming on, so this is great timing. So you sack Truck Rutten to then not have a coach.
Yeah.
What is happening?
This is just a mess. They're a complete
It's
mess.
an absolute mess. Are we going to see James Hird back at the helm?
Oh, imagine.
Surely not.
You know what? It's
Or
not.
who's going to take the job? Ross the boss said, see ya.
It should be beyond the realms of possibility, but it's not, and that's the problem with Essendon.
Definitely not. I think he's second favourite
Yeah.
with bookies
No
last
way.
time I looked. No, legitimately
Oh,
he is. The
mate.
money's there. Adam Uze is the bookie's favourite.
This
You
is
think
what
he
I
has
thought-
to go there. It has to be.
But then they've done the old we want a coach with experience.
Yeah,
are they
but
are they going to muscle out of that, wiggle out of that by saying we didn't mean
Well,
necessarily
Uze
seeing
played
experience?
250 games. He's coached at
Correct.
Hawthorn.
And
He's
he's been
coached
an
at Melbourne.
assistant,
He's
yeah.
done
I
the
would have
circuit.
I think
expected
that's the
them
most
to
likely
do it
path.
by now. Like now that Melbourne are out, I would expect the process to have happened pretty quickly, and it's almost like he got
You
announced
can't
this week.
announce him today.
Why not?
Because the
Well, his
'Cause the
body's, mate, they're still at the cemetery.
That was Friday, mate.
Oh, jeez, let him at least
Wait.
get back and
What do you want?
clean
You want,
his
you want a full Queen
it's a
Elizabeth
bit- it's a bit-
ceremony, mate? It's going to go for 3
10-day
weeks.
It's-
10-day period of
10
mourning
day
after
mourning,
Melbourne
holiday
season.
Thursday. No, but it's a little bit. You can't empty your desk on Friday. Like, what's who's emptying his desk for? Oh no, just usually take all my stuff.
Some people
home.
do it ahead of time.
Yeah, well, he can't because if they
Yeah.
win, then he has to bring it all back on Monday.
I think that's the most likely is we see sometime later this week.
Adam
Uze's the
Uze.
guy.
But then
What did you guys say about
gone through the
experience?
process?
Well, he's got lots of experience as an
Yeah, but
assistant.
then like you have, but if you also sacked Truck to land on Uze,
Yeah, you don't know. Like it's another unknown commodity.
like when you're sitting around the table and they've finally come up with the decision to sack a head coach, was it like, great, we can get Adam Uze in?
yeah, well, yeah.
Well, it wasn't, but if he's the best candidate...
No, I know that, but it's
and
like...
this is the thing, you can't just lurch from... And I feel like Carlton have done this with their coaching. They lurch from, we need someone experienced, and then the next
Yeah.
guy is, no, we need to go for an untried
Yeah.
guy. We need to... And they just lurch from one side to the
So
other.
I was
Just
talking
get
to someone the
best
other
guy.
day who knows Essendon pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about a guy who runs the Reserve Bank in America, whatever that's called, and he was talking about the current. This is dead set. He's talking about the current inflation,
Is he in the coaching race?
and
Has
was
he put
just
his
saying
hand up?
no, and was just saying that the American bloke running banks in America is just like, you're going to be in so much pain, some people, but we are staying this course. It doesn't matter how many lumps there are, we are staying this course. It's like Essendon have done the absolute opposite.
Yes. Yes.
Like, and they need to follow the American banking, whoever runs that.
Pick a
is,
course and stick
that
to
is
it.
a quote from someone who would know. That's all I'll say.
That's our Reserve Bank in America segment of the week.
You're also hiding papers in your holiday house somewhere.
So I locked my interest rates in a little while ago. So I read the play, mate.
It's good.
I saw the way and I stayed the course.
All right. GWS.
So GWS is a
I
little
find
bit...
it so awkward that we talk about GWS so far down the chain.
Yeah, I know. So this is a little bit more Jacob Hopper. I went back and had a look. So he signed his latest deal literally this week last year. He signed it to stay. 2-year extension. It was literally this week last year.
Things have gone well.
Things have gone well. What is... I mean... Yeah, I guess we can chat about what's changed for GWS. Are you prepared to hold out and play super, super, super hard ball for the Giants if you don't have that?
They have to.
And just go, no, you're staying.
I think so with him because you're not
You're
like he's still a
absolutely
good
staying.
player.
The new coach has no relationship with the guy. Who cares about his feelings? Sorry, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't,
But we just haven't seen it. I'd love to see it. We haven't seen it
Bad
much
injury
at all.
We have.
You were talking about holding out, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I thought you were talking about Jacob
Oh,
Hopper's
no,
ability.
no,
Nick's
not
got a
Hopper.
little
Everyone's
crush
shitting
on
on
Jacob.
Hopper.
Mate, you're in charge of the West. You can't say shit. I can. You can't.
Okay,
That's
right.
disgusting.
No, I mean club taking the power.
No, I agree.
Over
It
player.
does, but
we
I
need
think
to see more of it.
if you're
It
a
needs
new
to swing
coach,
back that way.
Sorry, if you want to play, and I think the Giants need to because, as I said, they've become. Yeah, we laugh every time we talk about the Giants so far down the rung.
Yeah.
I had to we had to do a pre-season tipping thing. I had them making the grand final as a bit of a roughie. Crazy.
The funny thing is, no one can. The thing that underlies all these trade deals this year is all the people who always threaten to walk and will pick them in the preseason draft. North Melbourne will have first pick, and they're taking everybody.
And West Coast is sitting there going,
West Coast is second.
come to Papa.
There's none of that happening this year because if you're out of contract, they've got money and a need for talent.
I'm
you're
with
going
you.
to North Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like, you can't walk them. West Coast.
I've got West Coast. Do you think next year they have a tiny little spike in terms of performance? McGovern returns. Oscar Allen returns. Nick Nat will be fit. Do you
They'll do slightly better because they won't have waffle players playing.
Yeah, so do you think next year we're going to see just a little bit of that and then a correction back down?
Are you saying like a 14th, 15th finished? Or
Maybe win 6 games or something?
Yeah.
7 games?
They won 2 games. What's the percentage?
Well, let's go 60-50 odd.
59.8%.
We're going to what do we see with West Coast list? Because it's like Oscar Allen, who we hype about, but I think he's only kicked maybe 60 goals through his entire career.
Hasn't played the whole time.
No. But I mean, it's not like we've got West Coast have got King returning, who kicked 50 the year before.
Yep.
I don't know. I just find it really awkward now with some players returning, whether it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the backside to go up the ladder a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it might be the worst thing for them, right?
Yeah.
The best thing for
Well,
them
they've had the
now-
pain this year, so they've had a taste.
Yeah. But the best thing for them in terms of the big picture is for them to have another year similar to this one, just to really ram home this is where we are at.
And the contracts are almost done by that stage.
Yeah.
I think Tim Kelly would nearly be out. I'm not blaming Tim Kelly at all, but
but you can
that
restructure
length
the deal.
of 5 years. McGovern would nearly be out.
There'll be 2 or 3 guys you make a decision on who got an extra year where, some of us raise our eyebrows
Do you know what I
at.
mean, like Shannon Hearn playing again?
Yeah, so he would be done.
But he's going to be a better player than if a back pocketed drafted kid came in.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, they're going to be performing better
Yeah.
with a guy who won't be
Do
there
they
the
need
year
to?
after.
Yeah, and that's what I worry if they bounce a few steps then. Because all the talk coming out of them is how they're going to bounce back so quickly.
Yeah.
You don't want the results
want a
to
half
give you...
bounce.
Yeah, you don't
If
want to
it's
get
a
that false confidence out
Yeah.
of it.
It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see it play out. I can't wait for draft trade period too.
Yeah, so the
Just to see
junior
where
stuff-
junior ends. Who else is floating around? Anyone want to come home? Luke Jackson could.
Maybe.
Luke Jackson.
to have a big dip.
But not.
don't know.
Yeah, geez, that's a tough.
Yeah,
one.
I don't think it. It'd be a
Maybe it's
couple of
just stay
fringe
the
guys.
course, see what
Matt
happens.
Crouch.
No, I don't think they need Matt Crouch in
No,
that
they don't.
midfield.
What
I
do
don't,
they
definitely.
just need kids.
Kids.
Yeah,
Chess.
good
With
kids.
Chesser.
Is this North Melbourne?
North Melbourne.
Am I bringing it home?
Yeah. You do have a lot of the bad sides.
Oh, mate, this is just...
Because you don't do it via ladder.
All right, well, next week we'll do it.
First, second, third.
By ladder.
Fourth, fifth, sixth.
That's,
Seventh, eighth,
that's like
Why
an
don't you
extra
dish
30
out
to
the
45
teams?
seconds.
Why don't
work.
I?
Yeah.
Because I'm not the boss. Well, that's why.
So Clarko, he's going to be rooting for Brisbane through the rest of this final series. The Chris Fagan factor, obviously ex-Hawthorn.
Who else is left?
Everyone's ex-Hawthorn. He's probably
Nah, no McRae love.
But the
No
other
horse.
the
No,
other
it's the only one.
reason
Yeah.
the other reason is that Clarko's 55 at the start of next season. Only one coach in the AFL era has won a flag at
Really?
age 55 plus.
Yeah, let's have a guess.
Lee Matthews.
Wasn't Lee. Lee's last was 51, 2003.
Lee Matthews is only 51.
Mhm. For the third of their Brisbanes, yeah.
Who's the oldest?
It looked like, seemed like he was. Right here.
Yeah, he did seem a
Malthouse.
bit older than that. Mick Malthouse is correct. He's 57.
Yeah.
Right.
So Clarko,
What was Choco?
Choco would have
2004.
been, I reckon Choco would have been 40s.
Yeah, he would have been in his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had a kid that year too, hadn't you? Remember
Did
he
you?
left the game at one
Oh,
of the
that's
finals?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember that. So Clarko, so presuming that North Melbourne don't win in year 1 or year 2 of Clarko, which I think is even the most positive of North Melbourne supporters.
Win what?
Don't think they're going to win the premiership in
Oh,
year
Jesus.
2. So he's going to be the oldest ever AFL coach to win a GF. Unless Fagan, who's 61,
We
Yeah.
won this year.
can lead Brisbane.
Well, I look at that though and think, right, I agree. Like, it's
But
numbers,
also,
man, I
it's
love that.
Clarko.
But then you go, right, at the NBA. Then you go
Greg Popovich is quite
NFL.
Yep. Pat Riley
Yeah, we
was
don't.
damn
What
old.
is the reason for that? Older coaches just not working. So, like Dennis Pagan, things went beyond him. I don't know. We
Well, we don't get
out a lot.
we don't get them
Yeah, true. We don't get them.
to get, like the NFL or whatever.
They probably come in earlier, and so they get
That's what I
spat
mean.
out
You're in
earlier.
early, you're
And
out
then leave
early.
earlier.
Yeah,
You failed before you've had the chance to be old.
yeah.
Whereas like in the basketball, a lot of them get there late.
They go through the college and they
College
get, yeah.
system, sidelines, all that
Also,
sort of
was it
stuff.
Brad Stevens at the Celtics? It seems like he was there for a blink of an eye, and now he's like director.
Yeah, he was
of
running the
coaching.
joint.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
just
I
left.
think he read the play well there.
Yeah, I think he did as well.
Good coach. He was like, oh, let's go.
But yeah, I don't know. He
It's a
can
good
definitely
number.
do it.
That's good math. That's good. It's stats, man. I love it.
It kind of surprises, though. You'd think there'd be more 54, 55, 56.
Yeah,
How
well, that's the
old?
question. Is I wonder how many were actually coaching at that age. Like, is there an
We're still
outlier
going.
because they're the only one
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
maybe.
one's coached in their 50s.
pagan?
Yeah, so I was looking at, so the older ones, this is AFL era
it's
again. So
Ross
Parkin
Lyon.
was 53 in 95 for Carlton when they won. Pagan's last one, he was 52 when North won in 99.
would've been
Sheedy
in
was
his-
52 in 2000. And then, Lethal was 51. And Longmire's 51 now as well. So
he 51
he
when
could,
he was
he could
51?
absolutely do it.
Jeez.
So I look at Horse and think he
How
was
old's Ken
younger than
Hinkley?
Lee.
Ken Hinkley looks like he's getting on.
Good question.
He's 62.
Yeah.
He's
first-round draft
aged
picks.
considerably.
Koshy threatened him with job.
Yeah.
It ages you.
Yeah, it does. All right. Okay, so we'll do it quickly. What do you reckon is going to happen this weekend?
Okay.
Geelong, Brisbane, Sydney, Collingwood.
At the risk of being boring,
Geelong, Sydney.
is it Geelong, Sydney? Is it the Gary Rowan Cup in the grand final?
I'm nervous for Geelong.
Yeah, so who's more likely to
I-
cause
I-
an upset here?
This sounds silly.
Collingwood against Sydney?
The upset of not having Joe, because they get so centric when Joe's there. Whereas Eric Hipwood showed that he could be the player.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Look, Joe obviously
think Joe should
plays.
stay away.
About to cough again. Look, the two favourites. The two favourites are the one.
What's about there? Like $1.29 and $1.40. So it doesn't
I'll
seem
back
like
the
it's gonna
outsider, but anyway.
be- Yeah,
They're both the super dangerous prospects, though, aren't they? Because Collingwood, we know what their beliefs like,
Yeah.
especially in close, big games, massive crowds.
Oh,
doesn't
and
daunt
what they
them.
did on the weekend.
Yeah, and then Brisbane is just 100% free hit from here.
If they played 10 times, how many times do you reckon the underdog would win? 3?
Of
Yeah.
which game? This weekend?
Yeah, both teams. I reckon Collingwood would beat
Yeah,
Sydney
2 or
3
3,
out
yeah.
of 10.
Yep.
I reckon Brisbane might get Geelong
Yeah,
3
you
out
can
of
make
10.
a case for either of them, definitely. Yep, should be good.
All right, this has been the Hardball Gets AFL show, completely packed for work in the weekend. This podcast was brought to you by the new Mazda BT50 SP. It's the complete package. We'll see you next time.